I love nothing but bundt cakes. They have the buntlets, okay?
The little baby
the small ones, the buntinis. That's right. So.
Welcome to Live from LA County Podcast. As you know, this is the place where we get to explore the people, the lives, the work that's being done in Los Angeles County to make all of our lives better. And today, what do I always say? We're not going to disappoint. Today we have Dr. Skye Patrick. Welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you,
to the
Rodney.
chair.
I appreciate you.
You know. Let me tell the people, of course, about who you are and about all you've done.
Oh.
Right? I looked up the footprint, folks, online, and I'm pretty impressed. So
you.
let me share with them a little bit,
Certainly.
and then we'll get into some questions. So, look, we want to welcome you back to another episode, and today's guest, Dr. Skye Patrick. She's our county librarian, and she's our director of the LA County Library. And if you don't know this, and you've heard this with many of our departments, this department is one of the largest in the entire nation. It's actually one of the largest in North America. I heard you say that.
Yeah,
I've been listening.
Okay.
The third largest in North America. And I got to tell you, since she stepped into this role in 2016, we have seen a transformation in how our library delivers services. And I'm looking forward to you all hearing a little bit about what I identified and found, and us learning a little bit more about how she's doing it, how she's transforming the space into a place where people go and find the things that they need. And so, without further ado, welcome. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Rodney.
You know, I've been looking. I'll be honest with the folks. I was a little nervous about my interviewing you because I have enjoyed some of your author talks.
Okay.
And I find you to just be an amazing conversationist with the authors that you interview. And so I am hoping that what I found to just be a really good discussion, that many of our audience members will go to the library department's page. And of course, at some point, we will put that up on the screen. Go on it, take a look at the episodes, go to their YouTube page and take a look at some of what's been put up. You can learn so many things from the YouTube page. Yeah. So, without further ado, let's get into our first question.
Sure.
What's your LA story?
What's my personal LA story? I think my best story of Los Angeles is that I think I finally found home. I've traveled all over the world. I've lived all over the country. I've lived up and down the East Coast, now up and down the West Coast. I'm born in the Midwest. And I feel as if California is my home and LA is my spot, which is surprising because I was a little like not really interested in Los Angeles when I lived up north 20 something years ago. It just seemed like the culture was not for me, but I am so surprised that how much I love LA. So my story in LA, I would say, are the beaches. My story in LA are the mountains specifically, and this vast, beautiful, complex place called Los Angeles County. There is no other place like it. You will not find another place like LA County.
Right. So tell me about your journey. You know, I'm interested in, you said you've been up and down the West Coast. You've worked on the East Coast, right? Tell me about your journey getting to Los Angeles County.
Professionally?
Professionally.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I grew up in the Middle West, and there were really wonderful things about growing up in the Midwest.
Yeah.
There's some really challenging things. I knew I was queer early on, and I knew that I needed to find a place where I could belong and be and contribute, right? So there's the belonging to a place, and then there's that moment where you feel like you want to make impact.
Mhm.
So that led me to the coasts, to both coasts, and so I left the Midwest. I went east. I went up and down the East Coast, and then I went south. Wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Wasn't for
Yeah,
me.
the South.
And so then I made my way back to the West Coast. I already
Hmm.
forgot. So I was in Northern California for
Okay.
about a decade and a half, maybe 15
What
years.
city were you working in?
I was working in San Francisco. I
Okay.
worked for San Francisco Public Library. I had a number of roles there, but when I left, I was the systems librarian, which essentially means like this, like a hybrid between public service and IT. And then I went back east, and then I came back west. So I kind of did this zigzag.
You know what that tells me, though, is that you've not been afraid to go where the opportunities are. And I think there's something to learn from that,
Yeah,
right? That
yeah,
where opportunity takes you, you'll eventually land in the spot that's right for you.
yeah.
But if you don't try and test out different cities and different places and different workplaces, you may never know.
You know, Rodney, you really hit something really important that I think a lot of people professionally miss is that you have to go where the opportunities are. I was young, I didn't have a family, so it allowed me the flexibility, it allowed me freedom. I understand, like when you already have a family, that's much more
Mhm.
difficult because, there are other people that are impacted by your
Yes,
decisions.
yes.
I will say this though, as much as I've zigzagged, I was pleasantly surprised to find that there are over 110,000 employees in Los Angeles County, that there are 40 departments that you could work for. There's such an opportunity to move around here in Los Angeles County like no other place. You don't have to go anywhere. You can stay right here and try something new.
Yeah, thank you for that,
Yes,
for all of that.
I got
So,
you, Rodney.
I appreciate you. You know it. So tell me, your early life,
Yeah.
growing up, you talked about the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
How did that impact the decision, if at all, the decision to become who you are professionally today,
That's a
right?
great question. Thank you for that one. So, I've only started sharing this story since in Los Angeles County. There's seemingly the only place that was a necessary story to kind of understand my trajectory. So, as a foster child, I grew up in foster systems of
Mhm.
care through no fault of my own. I moved around a ton, more like literally about every year. So it was a really challenging time. And at the time, because I am older now, there was nothing called TAY, the
Yeah.
transition age youth that we have here. There were no support systems. So I had to figure it out on my own. But in that time, Rodney, I really relied upon two things. I always say this. I had two cards.
Yeah.
They were the most important cards. I had a bus card and I had a library card. And see, I'm of a person of a certain age where we used to have cassette tapes.
Hmm.
So I had no money, so I could go to the library and check out all the cassette tapes with my Walkman and like have that experience. I loved reading. I loved where books could take me, where the imagination could take me. I would spend hours at the library just by myself. There's so many
Yes.
things going on, even back then. So it became a safe space for me. And the bus card, in my little small city,
Get
getting
there.
around.
Yeah.
So those, so when people ask me, like, how did you know that you were going to be a librarian? I never knew that. I never knew I was going to be a librarian. But what I have found in this field is that I have been able to explore all the different things that are interesting to me and important to me, from IT to people to programs to literature to now AI and large language models. All of the things that I have found interesting, music, film, I've been able to do in this field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why leave?
I hear you. I hear you. And you've helped, I think about our library system and all those things you just mentioned, right? Everything from movies to learning,
Mm,
right,
mm-hmm.
is available.
That's
And
right.
at everyone's like our libraries are making it available to everyone. It is not exclusive, and that's the one thing that I love about what all libraries are doing, but specifically what you're doing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, there's me, there's the team.
Correct.
Yeah. There's no I in team.
There is none. There is none.
So some of the ideas are mine. Some of them
Yeah.
are from the staff, from our team. Sometimes it's like this amalgamation of ideas. Like I might bring something, then they'll bring something, or vice versa. And we have this really open sort of trust that I think we've all worked hard at
Yes.
because that doesn't come naturally, where we can kind of spitball ideas off of each other and come up with the best solution for Los Angeles County and its residencies or its residents,
Yeah.
excuse me.
So talk to me about the innovations,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You and your team have come up with quite a few innovative, different ideas to serve our public.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us about some of the innovations
Mm-hmm.
and ideas that the library department has brought forth?
Sure. So a couple of things. I am amongst a ton of creatives, and by creatives, I mean other department heads, other leadership here in the county. So sometimes the idea comes from them. They'll have this idea of a partnership or a collaboration from DHR all the way to public health to mental health to RRCC to the arts departments, parks departments. So we have this really wonderful way of pulling out of each department uh, their sort of essence. And then that essence can be translated to another department because, frankly, we're all serving pretty much the same people. And so, what we've learned is to collaborate and become a sum of our parts. So, I want to say that for sure. So, it's a funny thing when you use the word innovation. And I'm going to take this from a very dear friend of mine, Marcellus Turner. If you're watching this, I'm going to cite you. Innovation requires money. Money is something that
Mm,
we don't have. So what we really do is we work from creativity. So from my point of reference, innovation requires extra resources. Creativity requires what you have and making it work and figuring it out. So from my vantage point, I think we're more creative than innovative, at least today. And so some of the things that we've done that might be perceived as innovative or creative are those collaborations. So we use our relationships with like Department of Public Health. We have a wonderful program that came from a board office. I think it was Supervisor Solis, my
mhm.
brother's keeper, where we employ young men of color and young women of color, but
Yes.
specifically young men of color to get them into the library field paid, because this is important for a lot of people, paid positions so that they can start their trajectory. We have, as you've mentioned, we have several STARS programs. We have everything from tutoring, one-on-one tutoring for young people to silver steamers. We have a wonderful program that we really earmark for older adults to learn technology and this entire new world of technology. We have music classes that starts just in I think in the next month at several of our libraries within the system, where you can learn different instruments. You can learn piano, you can learn guitar, you can learn drums. Sorry, parents. And then you can take that on because this used to be these are things that used to be at
Mm,
school. And as budgets get tighter, programs get cut, and we see ourselves as standing in that gap.
yep. Yep.
In addition to that, we have a wonderful program partnership with the arts department where we are capturing the stories. We recently received a Mellon grant of people, Altadena and the Palisades, who were impacted by the most recent fires. So just like the culture keepers is, I think, a lot of places, a lot of the place that we stand in as a library system, because
Yeah.
libraries are first and foremost a cultural institution. People misunderstand that. Literacy books are one of the first creative industries, and people don't necessarily associate that. Like
Wow.
writing is a skill,
Yes.
and it is a creative skill. So we are the keepers of those.
Yeah. How has equity played a role in the work that you all are doing?
Yeah, I was talking to my dear friend Norma Garcia, who is the parks director, and we were having, we have these like moments where we just, as department heads, we come together. I have to say, I've worked all over the country, and equality is really what many places were focused on, many government institutions, like
Yeah.
trying to make sure that there's things for everyone. It wasn't until I came to Los Angeles County where our county board of supervisors really reframed the question. So they took the sphere and they turned it around, and they challenged us as employees to look at the work through an equity lens. And essentially, what that means to me is looking at the line. Who falls below the line?
Mhm.
And what can we do as a county entity, as county entities, to bring people up to the line? And I think that that's really important because, again, most places are looking at the line, like keeping people and things at the line and above, but you have to get people up to the line.
Yes.
And so, from my vantage point, Rodney, a lot of work that we do here in the county, that our Board of County Supervisors call us the social safety net. I don't disagree with that, but I would challenge us is that we are the keepers of those of the people who need to get to the line.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility. I think about foster youth. I think about LGBTQ youth who are on the street. I was recently at the center just this past weekend, and they have these wonderful programs to help safeguard the place for young people who
Mhm.
are queer identified. I see the county as an entity like that to
Yeah.
try to get people to the line. So that's what equity means to me.
Like it, like it. So you also talked about technology, and we know that technology just moves so quickly.
Indeed,
Talk to
true.
me about how your department is embracing technology. Even I was reading on your website about the digital divide
Mm-hmm.
and objectives to assist with that effort.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us about technology improvements?
Sure. It's an interesting thing. So the digital divide was really a conversation that came out of libraries 30 years ago.
Wow.
I am aging myself here. 30 years ago, when the internet and technology and
Mhm.
automation became ubiquitous, it was
Yeah.
public libraries, first and foremost, who said, hey, but wait a minute. There are all these people who are being left behind. What can we do to stand in
Yeah.
the gap?
Yeah.
So it's almost a shame that now 30 years later we're still having this conversation. However, it's like the playing field has begun to morph. So while we have computers and we have automation and we have internet and Wi-Fi, what we now see is that we have to still focus on Wi-Fi. We have to still focus on getting people the kinds of skills that they need to utilize
Yes.
technology. We have this now new world of automated artificial intelligence and large language models. And what does that mean in helping people to understand like what their world will be like, what their world is, I beg your pardon,
Yeah.
now, how AI is already ubiquitous in there, like your car, as an example,
Yeah.
your refrigerator that's got, temperature control, your Nest in your home for your heating and cooling. So to try to orient people about how it has changed and how it continues to change is, I think, a big part of what public libraries currently do and will continue to do is to socialize these changes for people, these technological changes, institutional changes, governance changes. Like this, we are the place that literacy lives, and literacy, multidimensional literacy, I like to
Mhm.
call it, and it takes on all of these different arrays. So it's technology, it's discourse, it's talking about books and literacy. It's about all these different things that I think we have the ability to bring people to the line.
Y- Large language models. Talk to our folks about what is that? There are going to be plenty of folks who are going, okay, she's now mentioned that 3 times or
Okay.
2 or 3 times. Can you talk to us about what that is and
I can
what's
try.
coming
So artificial
or what's
intelligence,
here?
Noam Chomsky said it best. He has been quoted to say that artificial intelligence isn't intelligence at all. It's really it's a citation issue. So what do I mean by that? I mean this technology goes out and it captures large swaths of data and it pulls it in and it can then retrieve that data through a query, which is what you used to use libraries for. You
Yes.
used to come to the library, and some people still do, and you would ask a reference question, and then your reference librarian would then utilize databases and books to then query your question. Now, with artificial intelligence, you can do it from your phone or your
Mhm.
computer really quickly, and it retrieves it within seconds. It's this moment of epistemic abundance is what a friend of mine has called it. It's also a little bit terrifying how quickly you can get this information. I think so in terms of large language models, AI essentially goes out and it swoops in all of this information from the internet, from different sources, and then it feeds it back to your query, to your question. The problem is there are
Mhm.
several problems. We have to deal with dis and misinformation, which
Yes.
is where libraries, I think, is really primed to be of service in
Mhm.
this new world called AI. Legit to be able to legitimize the query what comes back, okay? Because not everything is true on the internet.
That's right.
But many things need to be sort of washed or cleansed.
Yes.
That's where your libraries sit in. Um, and so that's what large language models are. It's just these big language captures that artificial intelligence does. I hope
Yeah.
that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does give me, and I hope our audience, an understanding of kind of the issue and what it means for us. And the other thing that I really love that you just talked about is the part about how libraries will play a role in the fact checking part,
That's
right?
right.
That will allow you to come in and look at other sources
Mhm.
to ensure that what AI has picked up is indeed accurate.
That's right. And we
The
did this we
filter.
did this 25 years ago
Yeah.
when the internet became ubiquitous. Not everything on the internet is true either.
Yeah.
And so we had to have this, we were the truth tellers, sort of the fact checkers. And
Mhm.
I see that as a part of the role we play. The other thing that I should say about AI, large language models, is that there's an issue of equity. So there's another issue of equity, and this place where you have to remember that there are humans creating the information, the large language models that it's capturing. So with that comes bias,
Yes.
right? And so, when you do a query, one of my favorite people in the world is Dr. Sofia Noble, who is a MacArthur genius. She has a book called Algorithms of Oppression. And in her book, she talks about, doing a search as an example for Black girls. Now, so this has been changed now. This is now decade-old research. But at the time, when you would type in Black girls, you would query pornographic sites.
Mm.
And so there is that so there's that sort of that bias that people already
Yeah.
have that you also need libraries to help filter out. So there's a place for libraries and librarians in the future, I believe.
Must. So let me ask you, um, what library initiatives, you've just talked about several. What are you most, like some of the initiatives that you're most proud of that you've
Oh,
been able to bring to our residents?
That's a great question. So here's how I'll answer that. First of all, I love all things creative,
All of it.
because I'm a creative person.
Yes.
But honestly, Rodney, there are two programs that I feel really proud of as leadership. One is our Career Online High School.
Mhm.
So what is that? This is
Yes.
an opportunity for adults who are 19 years of age and older to go back to high school and receive their high school diploma, not a GED. So that's really important. And in that, we provide them counseling, the libraries and the program provides them counseling. And then once they graduate, we hold a ceremony where my chief deputy and I, we are in our robes, because we want them to see how serious this is, and we want to just help them get to that next level. Once they complete that program, they have the opportunity to do a 6-week program and in several disciplines. So our hope and goal is to be sort of the entree into community college. That's how the program is positioned.
Mhm.
That's how we advocate for them. So that's one program. And then honestly, the next one is our tutoring program, our one-on-one tutoring. We call it Tutoring Stars, where the County Board of Supervisors was so gracious. Let me take a step back. So after the pandemic, we all know that there are so many young people who were having really tough times with school and learning and just like being involved in school. We do something called our department does something called visioning sessions, and we do them every 3, sometimes 4 years. So, like around 2022, 23, we did another visioning session where we met with over 1,100 people who use libraries. And the number one thing the parents said is, we need help with our kids and their education. They're all struggling. I took that comment, that feedback back to our county board of supervisors, and they responded immediately. They responded by providing funding, $5 million, to be able to present this or have this program where tutors come in to our libraries and they do one-on-one tutoring with young people. We have some really good initial data where in their reading scores and their math scores is 18 to 20% increase over the summer. Those are extraordinary
Yeah.
numbers. And what that does is it is allow them to not get behind in school. So these are like not the more creative programs, but these are sort of like bread and butter programs that are
Yeah.
really near and dear to me because I know the value and I know the importance of education. And I know that if you're not reading by age, at grade level, by age, at third grade level, then you are going to be behind. You're going to continue to be behind each year. And then that has a material impact.
Yeah. Let me thank you all. I want to thank your department because, man, when you're talking about help in the libraries, helping individuals graduate, not get a GED, but graduate from high school,
That's right.
the power
Yes.
in that,
Yes.
how you are empowering the
Yes.
community
Yeah.
to take advantage of one, the resource, but two, take advantage of like to move their own lives.
That's right.
I am thoroughly
Yeah.
impressed by that and the work that you are doing. I didn't know, so you see me now, right, folks? I'm like I'm all in. I'm all in. How can our community, right? Some of us have been blessed. Some of us have been, have had resources provided to us. And I often wonder about those of us who want to give back
Mm-hmm.
to your library, to the work that you all are doing. I believe you all have a foundation.
We do have a
Can you
foundation.
talk to us about how can we feed into
Yeah.
some of the work that you all are doing?
So if you go to our webpage, lacountylibrary.gov,
And we'll put it somewhere on the screen.
yes, you'll see a donate button at the very top of our page. If you go to that page, you'll see like 6 buckets of ways in which you can give back. Ways in which you might have heard me or one of our team talk about a program that maybe resonates with you as an individual. uh, you can go there and then it'll lead you to the LA County Library Foundation page. You can go from our page, you can go from theirs. I would recommend you go from our page into it because when you Google it, it takes you to the foundation for the city library, City of Los Angeles, which is a fantastic library system. It's just a different library system. And it's, it's the optimization. They're more optimized than we are.
Mm-hmm.
So go to our page, hit the donate button. There's 6 buckets. You can choose one of those. It has all the programs, or you can decide on a different program.
Yeah.
You can put it in, and then it immediately impacts youth or the group that you are interested in. So that's how you do it. Um, I will say this: while our foundation still has a lot of opportunity, it's people like you who are really touched by programs that the library offers that you can support us. And so we welcome you in any way that you feel comfortable supporting us.
Yeah, I hope for we've heard about our Parks Foundation, our Animal Care and Control Foundation, and this is the third that we the community have an opportunity to support.
That's
So I
right.
hope folks will go to it. I hope that we will show up, show out. Let's help, right?
That's right.
The effort. I want to get into your leadership style.
Mhm.
I see you as a really solid leader. I enjoy talking to your employees about how they feel about you and the leadership, your library department leadership. What do you consider to be your leadership style? And if I ask you to just give us 2 or 3 words
Mhm.
that best describe that, what
Mhm.
would it be?
So, if you're looking at leadership and if you're looking at the language of leadership, most people would probably house me under a Socratic leadership, right? And what does that really mean? It simply just means, or transformational leadership, one of those two, just means that there's a place for every voice. Does not necessarily mean that every voice will always take precedence,
Mhm.
but there's a place for you in leadership because I feel really strongly about leading from where you are. And there's so many different kinds of ways that you can contribute to the overall mission of your department or the county based on what drives you, what moves you.
Okay.
So if I had to say it, it would be probably Socratic leadership.
Okay. What keeps you, what are you most looking forward to as it relates to the future of our libraries and the
Mhm.
work that you're doing?
What am I most looking forward to? That's a great question. I would be remiss not to just call out the truth, which is, as a public entity, like many, we all could use more funding.
Yeah.
And so we spend a lot of time trying to figure out the funding component because funding drives people, funding drives program, funding drives impact. So I most look forward to getting to a place where we can provide the kinds of services
Yeah.
that I believe are necessary. So, big vision that we have, all of our libraries open 15 hours a day
Mm,
because there's a need for it. Um, but that's what I'm most looking forward to solving
yeah.
is the
Yeah.
funding issue.
Yeah, I think that's interesting point. I think about the impact that keeping our parks basketball courts open at night had on the lives of young men and women
Mhm.
in our communities of
Mhm.
color.
Mhm.
And why not our
Mhm.
libraries
Mhm.
be open later? And I know it's funding, I get it. But man, the lives that we could impact.
That's right.
Keep
And
folks off the street.
keep people off the street. It's not even just strictly an equity issue. There are many people who would benefit from having access to a public library more hours each day.
Yeah.
We live in Los Angeles. It's hot here. Even just having a cool place to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
in the middle of July Or sometimes, up in the Antelope Valley, we have libraries up there. When it's cold, it even sometimes want to, it doesn't snow necessarily, but it wants to get a little chilly up
Yeah.
there. Having that place to come in and having the resources available to you for more hours a day, it would
Yeah.
just be a value add for everybody,
Yeah.
every period body.
Every period body. I'm with you. Now, before we get into our next segment, I wanted to congratulate you on you receiving. How many times have you been to the White House?
Oh, just once.
And why were you at the White House?
Um, let's see. So our library system won the most highly coveted acknowledgement known for libraries and museums, which is the Institute of Museums and Library Services Medal of Honor. A huge honor to receive that. I think they give it to 4 libraries a year, and in fact, with the new leadership of the White House, I don't think they're doing it at all.
Mm.
So, out of the 16,000 libraries in the United States, we were one of the 4 to be
Yeah,
acknowledged. So it
yeah.
was a huge
This is a big
thing.
deal, folks. This is the work that these folks are
Yeah,
doing,
thank you.
and they've been honored. I saw that online, and I was so proud to see our people
Yeah,
being honored at the White House.
yeah,
That was awesome.
that was
Well,
pretty great.
look, we just got through our hardest part of the interview, so now we get to ask you some fun questions, and we get to know a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions
Uh-huh.
and you can give me explanation, you could talk about it. And I'm checking out this cup, right? The LA County Library. Look at this. They've got branding. Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
So I'm going to just ask you some questions and you tell me what comes to mind.
Okay.
Who were key mentors or influencers over your life?
So this was always a tough question because I will say repeatedly, I never had active mentors. I see a lot of value in mentors. I've always made my own lane.
Yeah.
That does not mean that I don't stand on the shoulders of other people. That's not what I'm saying. It simply says that I create my own lane, I make my own moves, and some of them are great and some of them are not so great. But I've never had a formalized or even really informal mentor,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I do support people who want that.
Very thought. See, that's what I'm talking about. I can appreciate that answer. Because yeah, it may not be. It's not one person. I appreciate, and for many of our young people who may be thinking, you know what, I don't have that one person I can lean on.
Right.
You don't necessarily need it. Trust yourself, right?
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
You will never intentionally steer yourself wrong. Follow your heart, follow your gut. One of them will get you where you want to go.
Yeah, yeah. What was your favorite book growing up, and does it still hold up today?
Oh, that's a great question. Just have to figure,
Team.
let me, so this is a really great question, and I'll answer it with a couple of books
Okay.
because there were so many that were so important to me. When I was really, really young, I loved uh the Francis books. I can't think of the author right now, but the little hedgehog, I don't know what she was. Love the Francis books. Jam for Francis, I think it was. I can see myself in like first kindergarten or first grade sitting at the foot of the teacher or librarian just like absorbing this book. Then when I got a little bit older, I loved series.
Mhm.
The series, the Choose Your Own Adventure series. I used to go to the library and pick like because I didn't have a library card because at the time, as a foster kid, I'd moved too much and I lost books. And so I had a fine. So I would
Mhm.
have to come in and sit there and read them. And I love those books. And then as I got older, I really started getting into sort of sort of the African American canon.
Mhm.
So James Baldwin, Richard Wright, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, Sonia Sanchez, like the list goes on and on. And those people, if I had a mentor, I would say it was those the the Black canon who really taught me who I was. And then of course, then I would elevate to queer literature
Yeah.
um and so that's really it. I hate that. It's like, what's your favorite song? It's like,
No, no,
well,
no.
let me get to that. So it's just it depends on what year.
Okay. All right. What does a perfect day off look like for you?
Oh, look at you. Okay. So my perfect day off
I heard a little bit
includes
of it maybe earlier,
yes.
about LA.
Yes. So I have several dogs, but I have a new Siberian Husky. And my perfect day is after I finish CrossFit, then me and my pup will go out into the world. We'll like go hiking or we go every day. He's young, so he needs a lot of walking. So he's 2 or 3 miles a day. And then it's like something delicious. There's so many
Mhm.
wonderful places to eat here in Los Angeles. And so that's really it. And then maybe I have an RV because I am from Michigan. And then like being in the mountains with my RV, like that is the most perfect day.
What's your go-to comfort food after a long day?
Oh, look at
Come
you.
on now.
Okay. Well, if it's not pizza, I think that's the hard one
That's
for
it?
me.
Okay.
I don't I oh, you know what it is?
What is
Oh
it?
my goodness, I'm about to tell you everything. I love nothing but bundt cakes. They have the buntlets, okay?
The
There's
little
the
baby ones?
small ones, the buntinis. That's right. So
Okay,
I'll
give
go
me a
get a
flavor.
buntini.
Give me a
Oh,
flavor.
well, lemon.
Oh,
Yes.
God, you are good. That's why I like lemon. Okay, now we know. We know what to bring
That's
you.
right.
Okay, all
My
right.
birthday's in July, if anybody
And
cares.
mine's in June. Who's first? All right. Um, if you could recommend one book everyone should read at least once, what would that be?
Ooh, The People's History of the United States.
Okay. Um, outside of work, what's one habit or routine that helps you stay energized and focused? I think it's the walking, but maybe there's something else.
That and more recently CrossFit or lifting, eh,
Okay,
whichever one works for you.
got it. What's the best advice you've ever received? Ever? Man, team. Ever.
Ever. Somewhere in and around this idea, be yourself because everyone else is taken.
Okay.
Something in and around that.
What makes you laugh the most?
Um, I think my kid is really funny. She's really hysterical. So her.
How do you define success at this point in your career?
Um, A couple of ways. Have I so I ask myself every morning in some way or another, what am I going to do to make somebody else's life better? I mean, there's iterations of that, but
Yeah,
so then when I go to sleep, as I recount the day, have I done something of meaning and have I provided something of value?
got it. Got it. All right. So now we're going to go into our next segment, which is lightning round. So
Uh-oh.
we're now going to ask you, and don't be scared. Many a department head has been in that chair, and we've gone through the lightning round, and they've done just fine. And I'm positive you are too. So
Okay.
the lightning round, we will ask you not many, several questions, and you just tell us the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
Hmm.
These are easy questions. These are going to be very easy. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
See, that was easy, very quick. I like it. Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
First job you ever had?
I was fired, but McDonald's. Actually, that's not true. I had a paper route. That was
You
my
had a
first
paper
job.
route.
Yes, I had a
Okay.
paper route
All
back in
right.
the early
But now we
days.
got to go back to McDonald's. I have a buddy of mine. Hey, Take. I know. He served a burger without meat,
Oh,
and the patron came back. What did you do?
I just don't think I was very good on the fries. The fries are very specific and very particular at McDonald's. I just didn't have that fast food.
Yeah.
I just wasn't good at it.
Well, speaking of food, In-N-Out or taco trucks here in LA?
Uh, Probably taco
All
trucks.
right. One library program you wish everyone in LA County knew about.
The tutoring,
Most underrated communication skill.
listening,
One goal you hope to accomplish this year.
personally or professionally.
Let's go personal.
I'd love to do. We talked about this, but I
Hmm.
don't know what you call it. Is it a 5K?
Uh-huh.
Is that
5K or
the
the half marathon.
well, the half marathon is a lot bigger than the
Oh, that's
5K.
that's yeah,
So
that's
let's start small.
5K. All
The
right.
5K,
And you're already walking the dog like 1 or 2 miles.
3 or 4.
3 or 4, you're already doing a
Yeah, but
5K.
to run it is different.
Okay. All right. So we're talking run it. All
Yeah.
right. So we're going to challenge you to do that.
Yes.
Okay. We'll find. As a matter of fact, folks, the county of Los Angeles, I've been throwing this idea around and it's come from the podcast.
Mm.
The idea that we do a 5K here in the county
Okay.
of maybe our county employees and we could do it downtown and we raise money and it goes to all of the wonderful
Oh, I
foundations
love that
that
idea.
that are working with our departments, our parks, our animal care
Yep.
control, our library, and I've convinced. I'm going to convince DYD, our
Hmm.
youth development department, to create their foundation,
Uh-huh.
so that we can help each other.
I love
Right?
it. I mean, we have 110 plus
That's
thousand
right.
people here. If we got
Yeah.
half
Yeah.
of them to
Yeah.
do it.
And our employees, we already give well over $1 million annually to nonprofits, agencies throughout
Yes.
the county.
Yes, I do it.
Why not give
Yes.
to
Yes.
the nonprofit foundations that are helping our
That's right.
departments
Well, and I'll just say that the County Libraries Foundation is one of the programs that you could give to in the roster.
on the okay county employees? You heard it. You heard it. Let's see. What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to live and work in Los Angeles.
Nice. A decision you made early in your career that you're most proud of.
Not being afraid to move.
If you could instantly learn a skill, what would it be?
I would love to speak like the Europeans, like 5 or 6 different languages. I can barely speak English.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, I went, well,
I get the language with the English. I think you got it down. One word to describe. We won't go there. It was the leadership style question.
okay.
My last question is dream author dinner guest, dead or alive,
Ooh, I mean, wow, that's a good one.
and I'll let you have two.
Okay, okay, good, because one of them I had the pleasure of interviewing a few years ago, and I was like so flabbergasted I could barely get the question
Mm,
out, which is Dr. Angela Davis. Okay.
wow.
But the other, I would say it'd have to be Toni Morrison, but I don't even know that I'm smart enough to be in the room with her. So I'd have to really be prepared because that woman could think circles around people.
Mm, mm,
She is the most high, in my opinion.
wow. Wow. Well, that was our lightning round. It was a breeze, right?
Wasn't
She's
so
like,
bad.
all right, wasn't so bad. Okay, so I have just a few closing questions
Sure.
for you. And the first is, I've heard you talk a little bit about LA and about the county. What has taking on this opportunity meant for you? Joining Los Angeles County and working in this vast community.
Mm.
What has it meant for you?
It's meant, I
Yeah.
think for me personally, it's been a place of of, what's the word? It's been a place of comfort for my family. We went through the pandemic together here in this vast place called Los Angeles County, where you could feel completely alone, but you're alone together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's been a place of stability for my child who is young still. And my wife and I, we really love it here. So it's just been a place of stability, even amidst the chaos of
Yeah.
this last decade.
All right. All right. So now we do this with our department heads where we give you all the opportunity, and you've essentially already thanked them in part, but I want to give you an opportunity to look in that camera over there, your camera,
Mm-hmm.
and talk to them about what they've meant for this
Mm-hmm.
community
Oh,
and
my team?
your
Oh,
team and
absolutely.
how much you appreciate your
Yeah.
team.
So I have often said to my team, or about my team, that each of you make me a better leader. You challenge me every single day to give you all of myself. And so, with that, I say thank you because you've made me step up and step into my greatness. And I hope that my leadership helps you step into your greatness. And if it doesn't, then I hope that it allows you to do the work that helps other people find their greatness. So, thank you so much for that.
Dr. Skye Patrick, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Rodney.
I sincerely appreciate the conversation. And if you give me a minute, I want to talk to these folks here. Um, it's certainly been a pleasure. I hope you all have felt the same. Hearing from thank you, LA County, our public librarian, our county librarian, Dr. Skye Patrick. And I want to thank her for sharing a little bit about her leadership, the community impact, some of the awesome programs that the department is working on, is executing on, is delivering to our community. And the work that I've heard about today really highlights that libraries are much more than just books. And people today are entering our libraries for more than books. And guess what? Our library department is doing everything to deliver the things that our community needs. And if you found value in this conversation and our other conversations with our wonderful department heads, I'd love for you to take a moment right now before we end this podcast. Go ahead and like this episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe and remember that we are here to share more about our community, what's happening, as well as if the other communities around the nation and around the world, as you're hearing about these ideas that are coming from our wonderful department heads, it provides an opportunity for you to take some of these ideas and help lives in your own communities. And so, with that, I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Live from LA County Podcast. Take care, folks.